Sometimes I struggle to go, but it's never because of the house. It's because of my own energy and capacity. It's no mistake that I see so many souls light up when I attend. Those physiotherapists genuinely enjoy their jobs. They embody healing that way. It makes it a pleasure to be on the receiving end of the kind of care that Western society could use more of if we decentralize profit and recentered care. Hello, hello. It is Tando. Welcome back to Sunday Soul Transmissions. It is Sunday. It is right pre-dawn time, which is my favorite time to film. It's dark. The world is quiet. It's perfect. Welcome. If you don't know me, I'm Tando. I'm a writer. I have a blog called Confessions of a Libra, and on Sundays I read out to you one of my blog posts. What we read about is dependent on what I read and divine through spirit, because I'm a spiritualist. I write about spirituality, feminism, patriarchy, colonialism, erotica, just a mishmash. So let's not waste too much time today. We're going to be reading The House That Held Me. Quick note at the top of this video. This post contains mentions of historical violence, including the Stolen Generation. So if that is something you don't want to hear about right now, please click off. Okay. Beautiful. I've been healing my knee post-surgery at a heritage-listed Italianate, which is Victorian, mansion in Richmond. Being the old soul I am, I don't just visit this place to heal. I feel that I commune with it. I am healed and I heal in return. Part of that commingled healing cocktail comes my attention to detail. I want to express to you how this house and land feels to me psychically. In doing so, I thought we could explore its history, which involves a little research, but bear with me, it'll all come together at the end. This home was built by William Harper, a single merchant who ran his own manufacturing firm. This house is the last remaining relic in Richmond, specifically from the 19th century Australia. Being able to witness this house and how its bones have remained sturdy throughout the passage of time, it's awe-inspiring how tragically beautiful it is. A physio student told me that William Harper lived in this mansion alone with his servants, no family. According to records, though, the mansion was sold by his grandson, William's namesake, which means family must have occurred at some stage. Whether he lived as a bachelor or in a home with bustling familial conviviality, I feel the vision behind the home with the pretty stained glass windows and decorative architraves. This is the home of someone with an eye for beauty and the means for opulence. The house is said to have been called either Uralbin or Coralbin when William lived in it. The latter is an Aboriginal name meaning the place of the copperhead snake. It carries delicious weight, but personally I felt strange about indigeneity being used as a prop. It's important to note that in the year 1889, Aboriginal people were still not counted as a part of the census and were still being recognised or considered as a part of the flora and fauna of this country. It brings shivers down my spine how easily some people have enacted dehumanising whole groups of people based on race. Aboriginal people were killed in unofficial frontier wars. They were still being killed at this time, and this is a year before the Stolen Generation policy was officially enacted. It's not that the separation of families wasn't already happening, don't get that mistaken. While I can remove myself from these facts to notice the warmth in the room with the fireplace where I do my hamstring curls, history gets lost when we try to preserve the facts that make us feel good and worthy. Coralbin was purchased by the Salvation Army in 1919 and renamed Elim. The name change is significant because Elim in the Bible was described as an oasis within a harsh environment. Other interpretations say Elam means strong ones or strong trees. I believe the bones of this house have been witness to everything from trauma to recovery since William Harper. Once it changed hands, it became Elam Maternity Hospital, a place to house young, unmarried pregnant women. As we often did back then, these women weren't assisted, so they could begin their new lives as mothers on strong foundation. Instead, they were punished and forced into slave labor until they gave birth. The abuse was so bad, one woman, Mrs. Burke, who attended the hospital when she was 17, stated that she was repeatedly called a slut and easy. I should have said slut and easy. She was so dehumanized that they referred to her as a digit, being one of 3 people with her first name. Once it came time for her to give birth, her legs were placed into stirrups. She was given 2 Disprin and gave birth on her own. The nurse only came in to catch the baby before they fell off the bed. Mrs. Burke was threatened that if she did not give her child up for adoption, she would be placed into foster care. Mrs. Burke and other women from this era who were also forced into giving up their children were informed in the aftermath that there were no records of which families their children could have been adopted into. They just have to live with that now. Sounds incredibly brutal. You can read up more on the women in the article. There is a link of more personalized stories. So often in history and in my own family, I've heard horrific stories of abuse toward women who became pregnant at an inconvenient time for the family. It's unthinkable that while a woman's system is being flushed with hormones from incubation, someone would use this weakened state to teach such a violent lesson. How merciless and utterly grotesque is that behavior? In the 1970s, the same place operated as an emergency refuge for women and children, and I shudder to think what the walls saw then too. Now, I will be honest and say, when I started writing this piece, I was not expecting such a violent and sad past. I wanted to document this mansion that I lovingly call a manor in the way that it has received me presently. I still will, but you should know that I am committed to truth. The tribes that were slaughtered for that land to be available for purchase need to be acknowledged. William needs to be acknowledged for creating a thing of beauty in an otherwise working class area for his time. It isn't really now. The women and children who suffered abuse in the name of piety must be remembered. And the walls themselves that see all, that live and breathe as we do. Elam House now operates as Epworth Rehabilitation Centre, and let me tell you, the rehabilitation has been multidimensional. As a psychic and a healer, I can tell you that land no longer holds the imprint of the violence that it suffered. As a patient, those walls embrace me every time that I walk in. The professionals, the patients alike have an easygoing amiability. The way the light streams through the stained glass windows is a religious experience in itself. I sense William's pride in the detailing. I envision how he must have sat near the hearth, ringing the bell to his servants. The pool is a newer addition on the grounds, but even then, in its waters, I sense the healing, the intentionality of humans using this space as a place of recovery and care has spiritually balanced the ledger. Energetically, the land feels light, but with depth, like someone who's been through dark nights of the soul, but finally alchemized those experiences. A little like me. Sometimes I struggle to go, but it's never because of the house. It's because of my own energy and capacity. It's no mistake that I see so many souls light up when I attend. Those physiotherapists genuinely enjoy their jobs. They embody healing that way. It makes it a pleasure to be on the receiving end of the kind of care that Western society could use more of if we decentralized profit and recentered care. Human to human care. kindness, and community. This house has well and truly lived up to its current name, Elm, by being an oasis after darkness, which is just as well because words are spells. That's why most Africans know what their names mean. A name is destiny. I hope in my words you see that by being still and more attentive, you can connect to the world around you in a more visceral way. I understand that my experiences are considered heightened. However, I know that you can train yourself. You can become more intuitive. You can become more psychic. Also, neuroplasticity, duh. There are books and YouTube videos on this topic. You too can experience the height of sensual awareness. I know as well many people love learning history, so I hope that this scratched that itch as well. May you find yourself increasingly present in the moment. Amen. That was The House That Held Me. I wrote that on June the 22nd, so it wasn't really that long ago. Yes, I'm still going to physiotherapy. I have I had a ruptured ACL, had surgery 3 months ago. Takes apparently 12 months for full recovery, unless you're an athlete or unless you just happen to be a quick healer, I guess. Maybe consistent with your therapies. But yeah, that's just a glimpse as to how I experience the world. Nothing is ever momentary. Nothing is ever small. Nothing is ever isolated. Everything connects. There is no lines between the physical and the spiritual. Because I believe in time being a spiral, which is something I discussed in my post-cyclical living. So, in the event that you've enjoyed this post, please like, comment, subscribe. Head on over to confessionsofelibra.com, read some posts, like some posts, comment. I love to encourage discourse. I am not the kind of person who believes in people just kind of watching me direct conversation. I like to be in conversation. I like to be involved in discourse. I want us to be metaphorically standing in a circle, all with equal eyes on each other, having a discussion. Happy Sunday, guys. Sunday fun day. I'll see you next week.